Just my fingers. Come on, bienvenue. Welcome once again to another money magic. I don't know, magic sales, magic stuff, magic. Oh, I'm in a funny place today. Today, as ever, we have with me David Tootle Chernick as myself, Gareth Waxon, and Hat. We've discussed all things to do with sales, specifically sales, things that you can put in place right now to make a valid difference to the way in which you work. We won't guarantee that your conversion ratios will shoot up, but today we're asking, why have conversion ratios never changed? David, why? Why?
I mean, I never. In my career, which has been several decades in sales, so I don't know, 30 years more. Whatever we seem to have done doesn't seem to have made an improvement in conversion ratios. I say we, the collective we, not me, obviously.
Of course not. You're one for one, like you are.
Well, it strikes me that I go in to see. I always ask to see people's pipelines. As you know, one of the first questions I ever ask is
swap out your
pipe.
Yeah,
and I just need the same conversion rates I've always seen.
Go on.
Why is that? Why in all of that time have collectively people who are selling not improved their conversion ratios? And perhaps I should just define a conversion ratio. It's, when we're talking about sales, we're talking about the conversion ratio of how many leads and referrals you manage to turn and convert into actual paying customers.
Yeah, so this isn't just people who happen to know how to spell your last name. They are people who are wanting to put money down for services or product rendered.
That's right. Qualified opportunities converting into orders.
Right.
Yeah, and we've, the definition of a qualified opportunity is typically one where that they are interested in buying a particular service, where pretty much that the budget is right, and that they have the budget, and where the estimated date at which they want to buy it. Yeah, not necessarily from you, but buy the thing. So those are qualified opportunities, and how many of those proportionally convert into actual paying customers? Now, there are sort of industry norms. I can tell you in professional services that it's typical to convert 1 in 3 of those. A lot of people think their conversion ratio is much higher. Oh, I'll convert 90% of. It's not 90% because you are not quite. What you're probably doing there is measuring the conversion of people actually say, "Yeah, I'm going to buy it now."
Yes, right? And that should be 100%, frankly.
Right. So exactly. So if you look at qualified sales opportunities to actual orders, it's about 1 in 3, right? It's never changed. Why is it? It changes after there's been a sales intervention, right? But people don't often get a sales intervention. They often, if they do get anything, they'll get some sales training, but that still doesn't improve their conversion ratios. So why is that? Why, Gareth? Why do you think?
Because the one common factor in all of this is that we're human, I guess. Yeah. And without trying to be all hippie about it, I would have thought those conversion ratios have got worse, frankly, because given the nature of the world that we're getting more and more cynical, we believe less and less what we're told in the prima facie evidence.
Okay. Yeah, there is that. However, I mean, generally, stuff gets bought. Yeah, people are spending, buying volume stuff.
If the product or the service has got a positive backstory to it, if there's a reason to buy it, if you actually need it, yes, stuff gets bought.
Yeah. So, but I mean, for example, if you just look across that period of time at, I don't know, world stock markets and stuff, yeah, it's been up and down, but it's generally, slowly, going up. So, which is another interesting factor, because if you do any job interviewing for salespeople,
Right.
funnily enough, that when they start citing their own conversion ratios or their own results against target, they're all doing like 50% above target. Can't be the case, can it? Because
it's impossible.
Across the board is not going up like that. So clearly, most people are getting whatever it is, 2% growth year on year. Okay, so if you're getting 5%, there's somebody else who's getting minus 3%. So the conversion rates haven't improved. What has changed radically over the last 35 years, and this is why I sort of brought a question to this show, is the efforts on marketing and the expenditure on marketing.
Yes.
So when people have
what's your favorite phrase about marketing, David?
Marketing people ruin everything for everyone.
There you go.
Some of my best friends are marketing people.
Yes, quite right.
Yeah, I love marketing. I want to be good at it. I'm rubbish at it. I want to be good at it. I take on board a lot of coaching on it, and I try and implement it. Okay, just like all of you folks watching this. And it's developed over those 30 years. I remember when I started my career and I had a summer job at IBM. I worked in one of their branches in Chiswick and in London. And, we sent out like a mailer, right? And, this was the early days really of mass mailing. We sent a mailer to all of our customers, and we had a whacking great printer, right? It was bigger than a car. And we used to have to, you couldn't see what was in a spreadsheet or a database all in one sort of long line. You had to trust that the data had been put in properly. Yeah. You couldn't see on a screen how the letter would look. Yeah. You had to print one, which took ages because the data had to all combine to see what it was going to look like. And then when you finally press print on 2,000 things, these letters would churn out. You couldn't stop it if you'd made a mistake. But you'd have to unplug the printer to do it. You didn't want to do that. Anyway, so we did those mailers. We might send out 2,000 invitations to an event or, whatever it might be. And, we would hand fold, people would be standing in the line, the marketing manager, and a couple of, summer interns, and we'd fold these letters, stick them in, get a wet sponge, special wet sponge, wipe the glue, stick it down, and can you imagine that the envelopes had to be printed in exactly the same order as the letters, and how many times
it always lent itself to one thing being out, and suddenly everything was out of step by one,
and you didn't know, and you had to open up the envelope. So it started like that. Okay, I mean, it started before that with door knockers. I wasn't around for the door knockers. I was a bit around for the door knockers, especially from the likes of Pearl Assurance.
I'm slightly older than David, and I remember door knocking. I actually did some at one point. But yeah,
I did some door knocking a couple of months ago with one of my clients as like an exercise. It's very successful, because nobody does that anymore. Incidentally, nobody does printed mailers anymore.
No, in fact, the best way to get a hold of someone that you really want is to send them an actual letter, because there's so few other things going through. Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I actually won a deal. It was before I went self-employed, so probably would have been about 16, 17 years ago, with Royal Mail. And I went to the office to get my order. Nobody would do that. I physically went there and I waited for a couple of hours in their reception. Yeah, I got it. It's a rapturous applause when I got back to the office.
I bet.
So
I used to wait for the fax machine bells to ring.
Oh yeah, the fax, man. I'll go send the fax machine now. Are you sending it now? So I'm going to go there now. I'm looking at the fax machine. So anyway, going back to the story. So marketing from there has evolved and developed and improved. It also at IBM, when I was an intern, was where they brought out company-wide email. So we saw all of that. The excitement at getting your first email, and then very soon after, suddenly your inbox was full of spam and all of that kind of stuff, right? But there's no doubting that marketing, particularly inbound marketing, has come on leaps and bounds.
Yes.
Huge developments, and people that do it right and do it well and do it with the likes of people who we know, Al Tepper and Didi Yadav, and there's great marketing people out there. Of course, I was going to save you the best till last.
Yeah, of course you are.
Great people I work with, and of course, on our favorite business social media, LinkedIn, where everybody who you would want to do business with in a B2B environment is on it. Yeah, people like you, Gareth, who help us connect with people that we want to do business with or want to get to know, right? So that's come on leaps and bounds. Why has sales not improved as a result? And it's because we are not converting. We are investing in the front end, in the top part of the funnel. Okay, we're doing so much innovation in the top part of the funnel. We think we're doing some innovation in the middle part of the funnel. We know CRM, but back in the day, we used to think about SFA, Salesforce automation.
Yes.
Software, right? That tried to do all of that kind of stuff as well. Now we have AI, we have proper automation and robots doing all sorts of different things for us, trying to convert. I've got one in my funnel. If you sign up to my objection handling masterclass, you'll get an email, a series of emails afterwards. Did you like it? Can I have a review? And if you were to do this stuff regularly, when do you think you might want it to start? Qualification stuff, right? However, you're not converting. And why is that? And it's because, this is my theory, so you tell me what you think. It's because although we know the theory of how to convert, we are not implementing it. It really strikes me during my sessions, the Treacle Club sessions, and you'll know this because we've known each other for ages now, that one of the biggest failings for sellers is not that they don't know what to do. They already know a lot of what to do.
They usually know as well as I do what they should be doing,
but they don't do it.
No, absolutely not.
Right, and even to the degree where people, when they start with me, or when I'm first having a sales conversation with them about whether or not they want to join,
right?
They'll tell me the stuff that supposedly they are doing, but they are not doing. I get amazing feedback on that objection handling masterclass, right? But it's a masterclass rather than just a workshop, because it's designed for people who've been selling, experienced sellers, not necessarily salespeople, but owner managers, people that run their own micro business, management consultants, lawyers, self-employed people, all sorts, right? Generally small businesses or medium businesses, some of them, right? They come on there, they've been selling for a while. Right, they have clients, they've won business, they know what they're doing. Yeah, right. They earn a profit, most of them, right? Most of them are fairly successful, and they know how to do objection handling often, but they don't do it. Why is that? Do you find that in your LinkedIn?
Yes, marketing? Totally. It's worse than that. I have meetings with clients. I lay it out to them. We're going to be doing this, but I need your input on this, this, and this. Provide me this bit of collateral, that bit of collateral, that, so we can then create and magnify your presence. And a day before, they say, I was going to do that, but I haven't. Sorry. Or worse than that, they just don't do it, and they go away on holiday and whatever. And we're left going, what we're supposed to do, make up stuff? Yeah. That's what other people do. We don't.
Maybe it is in all disciplines of life and work. Maybe that is the case. But I only really have experience in the selling bit, and the increase in the conversion rates that you get by actually doing the thing. I kind of liken it to another thing that I do in my life, just because there's another thing I have experience in, which is the self-defense. Yeah, it feels very, very similar that, I can learn a new defense technique, or I can teach a new defense technique to somebody. And so they have the knowledge, but the knowledge itself doesn't do the thing. Putting it into practice does the thing, right? Executing on it. And I guess it's similar to, I mean, one of the things Al Tepper says about networking is, and I'm sure you would agree with this, is that you can't just go to networking and expect it to deliver you results. Like you can't just go to the gym. Yeah, you actually have to use the machines and sweat. Yeah, it's a grind. And so
it's a process, and you need to approach networking as a process. That part of the process is perhaps the easiest bit, because you just turn up, say what you do, say who you're looking for, and mingle and try and be helpful and hobnob. The harder bit is the preparation before, and then the follow-up afterwards.
The preparation before and follow-up afterwards. That reminds me of something. That reminds me of prompting AI and editing afterwards.
Well,
the sort of the beginning and the end. It's very similar, isn't it?
Well, it is, because the process in the middle, which is the networking, is actually something that is unstructured. No, they're trying to make it structured, but it is really unstructured, because it deals with humans dealing with humans and the rest of it. The bits outside of it you can absolutely control, which is the preparatory bit before, what you're asking for, working out what you actually want, and then following up and closing the loop and finding out, are they really interested, or is there really something there? That's absolutely controllable. I would say it's the middle bit, the networking, which is less controllable, and that's the bit, that's the bit where it can all go.
Yeah, for sure. So look, if you're spending, I suppose the bottom line here is, if you're spending money on marketing, or if you're expending effort and energy on it, and if you think that you have optimized your conversion of it, you ain't, if you haven't really focused on exactly what you are doing in that conversion bit.
And if you aren't getting a 1 in 3 conversion, that's really your target, I would say, for anyone.
Yeah, and if you're getting 1 in 3, you should be targeting 1 in 2. And it probably, and by the time you're doing 1 in 2, that probably means you're in a position to crank up the marketing.
Yeah, because it means that you've absolutely defined your target audience and that they are hearing you. So that's the point.
Conversion doesn't mean converting into actual paying client one day.
No,
it's within a fixed time period. When it's a qualified opportunity, it's qualified for a particular time period, this month, this quarter, this year, next year. And we call that, it is lost for that. Yes, it might come in the future, but that's not going to help you now.
No, but we call that the sales cycle, and every business's sales cycle can be quite different. I mean, my sales cycle tends to be about a month or a bit under. What's yours at the moment, David?
Yeah, I mean, mine can be anywhere from 2 years to a day.
See what I mean?
Use my service that, it's one of those things, and I guess yours is too. Oh, I wish I'd done it earlier.
Yeah, well, I recently found, well, it wasn't me that found it, my second in command found a piece of software that allows us to allow our clients to just check in and check what's going out in their name through the system, rather than saying, can you send me a, and that's a game changer for us, because it means we can crank on, carry on working for other people, and they can check in. And if they're not quite happy with it, you can say, would you adjust this or remove that, or it's so much easier. And that's been a game changer for us. But I wish and that software's been out for a few years. I wish I'd used it 3 or 4 years ago. But here's the thing: you don't know what you don't know, and the only way to find out those things is to talk to professionals like perhaps Mr. Al Tepper, or maybe at a push even me. But the point is,
definitely speak to you.
But the point is that doing what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. So that's nothing
right. What you've
always
done is just crank up the marketing and focus on marketing, then you are not going to be converting. You will get leads and referrals. I speak to agencies, marketing agencies, all the time. I spoke to one yesterday, a great agency, not that far away from me, and they have the same thing. They get clients coming back to them saying, listen, the leads and the referrals, everything is great. We're not getting the business. And all the agency says, well, are you closing it?
Well, yeah, it's often the last mile. It's a bit where people fall over and graze their knee, isn't it? It's getting that bit from, yeah, I'm really interested. Now what? To paying the money and getting going.
So the sales are not improving in conversion ratios because people think that converting is having the right skills. It is not. Yeah, we all have some of the skills. We're just not implementing them. Even if we say to other people that we ain't.
All right. Well, look, thank you so much, David, for that, and to all of you out there that have been completely shocked by the fact that you have to put some work in before you do the thing. I'm sorry, it's kind of the way of the world. You need to put in the effort up front and after the networking event to get the best effects. But until next week, thanks a lot for talking more about conversions, David. I think it's a subject we could talk about for a long time. But for all of you out there, keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars, and please try and look after that mental health. Bye-bye now.